Hi everyone, I just wanted to give you a nice overview of our new Canvas course for SSD, which is linked to MindTap. So when you log in, you'll see you're at the home page, and the home page will bring you to all of the materials that we posted for the SSD instructors and students as well. So this first module, everything is in modules, and you can see you can collapse the modules if you don't need it and it's taking up too much space, that's fine. The first module is not published to students. You do not want to publish it to students because these are your resources. So I just want to familiarize you with the information that's in here. This first document is going to be very, very important. So you're going to want to open up this document because it provides you with information about all the different elements of the course and what you need to do. So you can do one of two things when you click on it. You can see it opens up right in here in this box, or if you want to download it, you click up here where it says download the information about the master course. So most of what I'm telling you right now is also written in here, and that's important for you to know. We've done a lot of behind the scenes work to make sure that you know what it is that you need to do. You can move through modules by clicking next to get to the next module, or you can go back to the breadcrumb trail, and there's a couple of ways to do that. I like to just hit the modules tab. You can do that. Obviously, home would take you back to the same spot because we have home landing page there as well. Okay, so that's going to be important for you to check in. For those of you who did not attend the training, you're going to need to link your MindTap to your Canvas. So here are the instructions on how to do that. I'm not going to open up that document because you can do that yourself. But if you didn't do that yet, you're going to need to do that. And if you need technical assistance, you can contact Cengage. Okay, so master syllabus. I do want to just spend a minute going over that, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up for a moment. This is something that you'll download, of course, so that you can customize it and make it your own. You need to put your own information in here, but as you know, we do use a standardized syllabus in SSD. And you'll see some of it looks very familiar. Your welcome statement, again, you can customize that. We're using the 3rd edition of the text in Success in College, Doing What Works. Students must buy MindTap, so it's critical that they have access, otherwise they will not be able to take the chapter tests and do some of the other assignments and take advantage of the resources. So it's very important that you communicate to them that the MindTap access is critical. We've updated the course description and learning outcomes, so you'll see that they're a little different than in the past. A lot of overlap from before, but one in particular that's brand new is creating academic, career, and financial plans. And you'll see that the course content areas have also been updated. So it's really important for you to pay attention to this piece. This has all been done to align with the Guided Pathways movement. We're trying to better assist students with choosing a career path and then supporting them so that they can successfully travel down that path and get to the finish line of graduation and hopefully end up in the career that they are looking for. So what can you expect in class? This policy information is pretty typical from previous SSD syllabi. Again, if there's something that you want to change, you can. These are just recommended policies for you. Available help, you need to put your contact information in here, your professor, then we put links to the resources on campus. We describe to students what their learning experience would be. The course outline, what we have here is all the assignments that are due and the activities. You need to change this to match your class schedule. So some of you will have library visits or advising visits that don't completely align with this, so you may need to, it may not be that you're exactly in week 7, a couple of you might be week 6 or week 8 or something like that, so you'll need to adjust accordingly, but this is the sample course outline. If you want to modify the way in which these are due, by all means, you have the flexibility to do that. This is just provided as a model. So the course sequence is completely up to you as long as you're following the course learning outcomes and content areas. If you scroll down, you're going to see what we're doing. We are asking everyone to use the same assignments. So we've carefully selected these assignments to align with the learning outcomes of the course. So you'll see that they have changed significantly from the past, where we are now putting a much stronger emphasis on academic and career portfolio projects, which again aligns to that Guided Pathways and addresses that last learning outcome that we added. You'll see we moved away from a midterm and final and instead are having what we call chapter tests. So I'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute. We continue with reading assignments. We do have these set to be auto-graded, but I do not recommend that you let them all be auto-graded because then it's really based on completion and students could write anything in there. We did that for ease of the instructor, but we are asking you to at least spot check them periodically, and then if you find someone's not taking them seriously, you can go back and change their grades. So you can override those. I'll show you that in a moment. A reflection paper will be at the end of the semester, and they are still doing that research presentation that we have traditionally done in the class on a research article. So here are the assignment details. Again, the reading assignments are getting the purpose of that is to get them engaged in the text prior to coming to class. You can use those in a variety of ways. If you prefer for them to print them out, by all means go ahead and do so. Chapter tests, they will have 2 on each chapter, and the highest one will count. There are 10 multiple choice questions, so the good news for you as a faculty member, you have to do absolutely nothing related to that piece. They're already set up for you, they're auto-graded, and they will automatically populate into your gradebook. However, with the other assignments, they will be manually graded. So the academic and career portfolio, we're saying it's 45% total, but it's really broken up into parts. So you'll see all these different sections. Each section does need to be manually graded by you, and they are assignments. I'll show you where you can go to grade those. Or you can have students bring them in, hard copy and paper. But I will strongly recommend that you have them submit them online because there's 2 reasons for that. One is then you know that they definitely have submitted it. There's no question. You don't have to worry about finding it. Second, actually 3 reasons. Second, it reduces the waste of class time with the collecting and distributing of papers. And third, it also is really often more helpful for students to get feedback this way because you can provide feedback as soon as it's graded. They don't need to wait till class to get that feedback from you. And you can use some video features that are really cool in Canvas that are very, very easy to use and more likely for students to internalize that feedback productively. So I'm not going to go through all of these different components, but they are all written here. And the only one that we're giving some flexibility on is the self-assessment. We realize this is a long list, I should say, of assessments. So if you don't want them to do all of these, that's fine. They're actually not set up to be graded. So if they don't do them, it won't negatively impact their grade. We are asking classes to do the College Success Factors Index as a pre-test and as a post-test. So this needs to be done at the beginning of the semester and at the end of the semester. If you want to just maybe have them do a couple of these, you can. The multiple intelligences and the personality ones are really short. The only one that's really long is the self-assessment of your self-regulation, actually. So the others you might want them to do. If you don't want them to necessarily do before the self-assessment project is due, that's fine too. You will need to do other activities in class in order for them to be able to summarize their values, abilities, personality, and interests, because you'll notice we don't have, unfortunately, assessments for these, and a lot of these are better evaluated and thought about via discussion. Okay, so you'll see there's all these different components. I will mention there is a presentation built into this, so you will be able to do some of this during class time, and I do encourage you to do some of this during class time. And the career information worksheets, you may even want them to bring them to class, and you might be able to, depending on how long the presentation is, you might be able to grade them while the presentation is happening. That's up to you. Again, if you turn some of these into in-class assignments, it saves students a little bit of time, and it can also save you some time if you're able to grade it in class. The educational and financial plan is going to be a little bit more in depth, but certainly can be aligned with the advising and registration prep session. That can be a part of it, but it will go beyond that. As you'll see here, that's not going to be everything, and they need to go beyond just planning one semester, but they need to map out their entire educational plan. And they also have to have a transition plan, which will most likely, for most of them, include some transfer information. Okay, the research paper and presentation should look very similar to the past. We're only asking, you're only going to grade the Exploring the Research in Summary worksheet for the article that they choose, but we do strongly recommend that you give them practice opportunities in class that aren't graded. You might want to still provide feedback even though it's not graded, whether that's in class or out of class. It's up to you. So you'll see all the different steps of the project, and then the final assignment is the reflection paper. So again, you would download this, customize it. Students aren't seeing this version because it's in the instructor resources page. All right, I'm going to go back over to the modules page, and when I do that, I will just bring your attention to some of the other resources. The instructor resource manual, which is usually found on the Cengage page, the companion site I've downloaded here for your convenience, and you'll notice that it has lots of information, in terms of different class activities, some discussion board prompts, so you can certainly use this in any way that you see fit. So you'll see for each chapter, you'll have different learning activities in general and some discussion board prompts. So feel free to check those out and use that if it is helpful to you. In addition, if you scroll down, I've put all of the PowerPoint slides here in case you want to download them and customize them. I do want you to note that I have also included them in the student version, so they do have this version. So if you want to replace it with your version, you can, but right now they have PowerPoints for all of the chapters. The only one they don't have is the Exploring the Research in Depth. I thought those would be more of a teaching tool for you to use. And you also have the Exploring the Research in Summary worksheets. So you have the blank worksheet here, and these are the articles that we'll be reading in class. They are at the back of the book. And these are basically just resources for you in case you wanted to have them practice summarizing them. You have a model of what that should look like. And then finally, there are videos at the bottom. So these are the teaching videos that have previously and are still on the SILT website that if you want to, tap into, you certainly can, and hopefully you'll find those helpful. So that's the entire resource, instructor resource section, which again, your students will not see. The next section is MindTap, and students do see this. And you'll see here's where you and your students can find technical support and some information about getting started. You can also click here to get into the basic MindTap course itself. I'm actually going to just backtrack a minute because I'm not going to do that, but it looks just like it used to look. But if they want to go into the entire section, book, they can. The reason I'm not going into that is because there's really no need for them to do it that way. We've deep linked everything, so they will get exactly what they need by following the clicks below. These assessments are all in MindTap, so in order for them to take them, they'll need to have MindTap access. But when you open it up, it should go directly to that assessment. Let's hope this works for me. And looks like it's working. Let's see. Yep. Okay, so they'll be able to actually go straight in, and you'll see they can actually just go ahead and take the assessment. So it's not like they have to find their way or navigate anyway. Everything is right there. If we go back to modules, and that happens to be a 10-question assessment, so it's really brief. If we scroll down, you'll see each section has got learning outcomes that they can click on to see what it is that they'll learn. Now the readings, I want to bring your attention to this. The readings are set up in chunks. So instead of being an entire chapter, it's actually set up in sections. One of the values of this is that you as the instructor can say, you know what, for Tuesday, I need you to read the section on getting a strong start and the value of first year seminar. And then on Thursday when we meet, you can read the other section and the research article. So you can break it up easy for them. The other beautiful thing is that this brings you directly to that section. So if we click on this, you'll see what happens. It'll go directly to the chapter content. It begins right at the start of that section. So let's see, hopefully that works. Looks like it will. Yes, so you're going straight to the ebook. So you're going to see they can go right there to that section. Every section starts off with the tips from the author. So you'll get like a minute or so from me. They'll go through that section. And most sections do have, let's go ahead, some kind of quiz or something to kind of get them engaged. And you can see here the myth and fact has been turned into an electronic version. So we want students to start using the ebook for a couple of reasons. One is it has those built-in resources that we just talked about, these kinds of quick quizzes and videos and things that aren't graded but are useful to them. And two is if they get used to doing this, we think it's really going to save them a decent amount of money moving forward, because they are able to access, just financial deals when they're buying books for their other textbooks for their other courses in the future. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this, so go back over to modules. Okay, so getting started is like kind of a pre-chapter, so it doesn't have everything in there, but you'll see that it does have a lot of things. So they do have their reading assignment. Reading assignments are done directly in MindTap, so when you click on it, they will go directly into MindTap. And again, you have a couple of ways you can do this. You can ask students to just print this page out when they're done completing it, or you can go into MindTap to grade. This is the only one you'd have to go into MindTap to grade if you want to grade it that way, but they would actually just click Start Assignment Now, and then they would start grading. Again, if you don't do anything, it will be just submitted as an auto grade, and they'll get credit for completion. But if they don't do this seriously, it's really a waste of everyone's time. So it's not meant to be busy work. It's really meant to be purposeful work. So you'll need to ask them to, I think, to bring these to class as well, submit it this way so that they get credit. And then maybe you only have to go in and change those that didn't take it seriously. So you could tell them everybody's getting full credit. You'll bring it to class and you get full credit as long as you bring it to class and you did a decent job with it. But if not, I'm going in and I'm changing it. And that'll save you a little bit of time as the instructor. Okay, get out of this. We'll go back over to modules. Let's see. So if we scroll down, you'll see again, every chapter has got a very similar look. The chapter PowerPoints are in there. Sometimes there are the exploring the research articles like there is in the Getting Started section. Not every chapter has that, so that will vary from chapter to chapter. But whatever assignments they have will be listed here. And it's not just reading assignments, it could be other assignments as well. So like for instance here, the academic and career portfolio, the self-assessment project is here in chapter 2. I do want to bring your attention and students' attention to these career videos. So let me just click this for a moment. You click on here, you're going to see a variety of videos. And it's actually, if you scroll down to the bottom, it's in MindTap as well. These are informational interviews, so you can show them in class, encourage students to use them. And then at the bottom, there are job search videos. So check these out. You might want to use them. It's just a new resource that we have with the 3rd edition that I think students are really going to find helpful. These are very well done, so I hope that you like them. All right, the tests are done right here, and again, they're auto-graded, so they click here, brings them into MindTap. So if they don't have MindTap, they can't take the test, but they don't have to go into MindTap. So once they link their MindTap and they access the access code, they can do all of this work right here in the Canvas shell. Okay, so that's pretty much, I think, most of the information I wanted to share about the modules. Now, of course, you're going to need to know, how do I grade these assignments? Well, there are some really cool tools in here. So if we just click on here, for instance, this assignment, first of all, if you want to change anything about it, you want to add details, you want to tell them more information, because I just put the information from the syllabus here, you would click this edit button, and then you can change it. So if there's anything you want to add, you can add, delete, whatever it is you want to do. I would try not to mess with the points and stuff because that's all connected to the gradebook or the assignment group. Otherwise, it's going to mess up the gradebook because the gradebook is all set up for you. Okay. If we go back over here again, let's go back. Let's just go back to the assignment again because I want to show you how you can grade and why it's so cool to do that in Canvas. So you'll see as soon as you go in here, you'll have the speed grader option, and the speed grader option, oh, I'm not going to get to see it because I don't have actual students in here, but if you use that speed grader option, what will happen is on the left-hand side, the student assignment will be right there, and on the right-hand side, the grading feature. You'll easily be able to navigate from one student to the next. And you will also be able to easily, like down on the bottom right-hand side, you'll see a video place where you can even provide video feedback. So we can do another tutorial on that. We'll have to put some, fake student accounts in here so that we can show you that feature. But the speed grader is great, and that's why I think you'll really enjoy doing grading that way, and students will really enjoy getting the feedback that way. So the syllabus, you will need to update your own. So you'll see here I have the Word syllabus. If you edit and you hyperlink it to your document, it's as simple as basically you click the edit button, you highlight this, and then you have to go and attach it to a file. So you go over here to File, you're going to have to go and click upload your version, and then you can update the syllabus. And then students will have access to that. In addition to that, if we go down here, I want to show you that the gradebook is all set up for you, so you don't need to do anything. The gradebook is right here. I don't have any students in this class, so it looks a little awkward because there's no list of students, but the students will populate automatically into yours. Everything is here, but you're going to see, like, these assessments, they don't get counted towards the grade. They're getting points for it just so you can easily see whether they did it or not. But once you get past the assessment stuff, you'll see now we're starting to talk about things that are getting counted. And then all the way on the right, if you scroll all the way over, now you're going to see here's the individual assignments, but here's how they're getting counted. So here you'll see there's chapter tests, what their whole grade is, because only the highest grade is going to count there. And if you scroll all the way to the right, you'll see the total grade. So this is already set up for you. Students see this, you see this. It's very, very helpful. Go back again to the master. You can follow the breadcrumb trail at the top. You can always get back by clicking your class on the top. So I think that covers mostly everything. If you do want to put students into groups or do anything online, you can do that by clicking the People's tab, and there's other resources you can try, but I think that gives you hopefully enough of an overview to get started. I know it's a lot to take in if you're new to Canvas and new to the 3rd edition and new to the new syllabus, but I feel very confident that you'll be able to successfully do this. The last thing I'll mention to you is that announcements are another useful tool. So I think that's a really helpful way to communicate to students, and you can do that by easily clicking New Announcement or clicking the Announcement tab. All right, I think that covers it. So hopefully everybody found that to be helpful, and